2021 BMW M440i Convertible. Aloha guys, it's Joe Tunney and I'm visiting my very good friends here at BMW of Hawaii in the beautiful city of Kona on the big island of Hawaii. And today we're taking a look at an absolute icon, the mid-size BMW Convertible. Whether 3 Series or 4 Series, it's the car that has had some colorful opinions about it stylistically throughout the years, but also has developed an absolute cult-like following going back decades. And that cult-like following is the result of what's under the hood. And that's where we're going to start. So today we're going to talk a little bit about where BMW is at as a brand. We're going to go through a little bit of history, and then we're going to take this gorgeous car out for a really nice drive. But it starts here with BMW's B58 inline 6-cylinder engine. It's a modular engine, and what that means is that each cylinder is a single half-liter module. If you put 3 of them together, you would have a 3-cylinder 1.5-liter engine that is used in the Mini Coopers. Put 4 of them together, it's a 2-liter 4-cylinder, and that's the engine that powers quite a lot of BMW's lineup. If you put 6 of them together, that's what we have right here, the B58 inline 6-cylinder engine. It has an aluminum block in heads, direct fuel injection, and a single intercooled turbocharger. Now, not only is this a gas-powered engine, it is also a mild hybrid. It is a 48-volt mild hybrid system that is made by Bosch. And by Bosch, I mean the giant German company, not the hit TV show starring Titus Welliver. However, if you've never seen the show Bosch, it scores 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. They're selling it short. It's the best detective show of all time. However, that hybrid system, a lot of people think to themselves, uh-oh, new technology, sounds like it might break, sounds like it might be expensive down the road. Well, I'm going to help you relax on that particular issue. People often don't realize that battery-powered cars came before gas-powered cars. And so there's a gentleman, Gustave Trouvé, famous in the automobile industry, had the first electric car rolling around the streets of Paris way back in 1881. Crazy as it sounds, he couldn't even patent the technology because rechargeable batteries had been all the rage in industrial applications and throughout the locomotive engine business going back to 1859. And so that technology had been around for decades. Why cars in today's world haven't always been running on electricity?
You've been had, you've been took, you've been hoodwinked, bamboozled.
Yeah, that's a subject you probably don't want me to explore in too much detail. But just know this, it's a really interesting and hot piece of technology. It's light, it's simple, battery powered as a rule. They're all metal cased and they need to be cooled. They're often heavy. This is actually a plastic cased module that comes in 2 parts. It's an 11 horsepower starter battery, and then it has a secondary battery that's charged every time you hit the brakes. Well, 11 horsepower doesn't sound like a lot of horsepower, and it's not a lot of horsepower, but it takes a lot of load off of the engine during acceleration, which makes the fuel economy go way up. The other benefit is that it takes out any remaining turbo lag, and so the power is extraordinarily linear, and it has power in spades. Although the brand says it has 382 horsepower, I'm very strongly opinionated that it has more than 400 horsepower to go with 364 pound-feet of torque. Manufacturer says that it goes 0 to 60 in 4.9 seconds. We're going to discover that it goes 0 to 60 in about 4.2 seconds. It's unbelievably fast. But it averages mid-20s fuel economy, including 30 or more out on the open road. Let's take a look around. power is supplied by ZF's 8 HP automatic transmission. It's the single best transmission in the world. That's one of the great reasons why it gets such dynamite acceleration and such thrifty fuel economy, as well as the technology under the hood. But as a car that can go potentially very, very fast, great brakes are also really important. And so this M440i has 13.7-inch vented rotors in the front, 13.6-inch vented rotors in the back. It rides on a 112.2-inch wheelbase, which to me is the ideal measurement. I always say I think the most perfectly balanced car that ever has been made ever is the Infiniti G35, which was also a 112.2-inch wheelbase. This car not only goes 0 to 60 in around 4 seconds, but it stops from 70 miles an hour to 0 miles an hour in 149 feet. That's not good for the category. That's world class for any kind of car. Now, one of the things you're going to notice as well is that the convertible top on the M440i is a soft top. It's the first soft top amongst the mid-size BMW convertibles, going back all the way to the E46 series. And we're going to play around with that. It's just a push of a button. It opens and closes in a breeze. But one great benefit from having a soft top instead of a retractable hard top is the space that it takes to use the actual process actually expands the trunk. And so because it's relatively small, trunk space is 9 cubic feet, which isn't a ton, but for a rear wheel drive convertible, it's actually really good. Let's take it out for a drive. So with a push of the button, the car turns on. You can leave the key in your pocket if that's what you want to do. And with the pull of a lever, the soft top closes. And you're going to discover it opens and closes very, very quickly. Why that's a big deal is there's a lot of times when you're out on the open road and the sun breaks free and it's been raining all day long and you go, you know what, I want the top down right now while I'm waiting at this light. Not a problem. The reverse of that is in a place like Hawaii where it might rain out of nowhere, well, same rule applies. You just push a button, top closed, you're back on the road and your car's not getting wet. Let's take it around the neighborhood. One interesting note about this car, despite the fact that it's got gas engine and a turbo and an electric motor that comes in 2 parts and all that stuff, it's actually a really quiet car, all things considered. That 48-volt technology, the Bosch 48-volt mild hybrid, you're going to be hearing that number a lot, 48 volt. I can't say it enough. That is a really big piece of technology. It essentially plugs into just about any gas-powered car that there is, and it has a lot of immediate benefits. In fact, so many benefits that Bosch expects up to 20% of the entire automobile marketplace is going to be using that 48-volt mild hybrid system by 2025. It seems silly, 11 horsepower can't be that big of a deal, but it really does change the dynamics. And for brands seeking maximum power with maximum fuel efficiency, it's a really big deal. Heads-up display is really nice. The gauges lay out beautifully, super duper modern. The interior, though, still just as reminiscent of BMW 3 Series and 4 Series, going all the way back to the 80s, to be honest. The BMW 320i interiors, for example, have a lot in common with modern interiors still. Nice stereo, sounds great. But we want to see how fast this guy goes from 0 to 60. 4.9? I don't think so. Yeah, way faster than that. But again, it handles beautifully. There's no squat in the rear. It's incredibly composed and very well balanced. It's a 3 Series. I know they call it a 4 Series these days, but it's the same idea. It's the same philosophy that goes all the way back to the old 2002s and 1600s. Incredible balance, incredible composure, just a thrill to drive out on the open road. Now, one thing I'll say, I've been thinking about, what if this is a car I needed to keep for 25 years? And I think back to when I very first started selling luxury cars back in the 90s. The hot car back then, at least by my way of thinking, was the E46 BMW M3. Well, I know a lot of people want to bash the look of the M440i because of its pronounced grille in the front. Everybody has the same comment to make that, you know, it's ugly or whatever the case may be. Well, I think back to the 90s, believe it or not, people said the same thing about the E46 M3. If you remember, the E46 M3 came in colors that cars just didn't come in back then. Avis blue, Estoril blue, Dakar yellow 2, Techno violet, all these crazy colors were a big turnoff to a lot of people because they thought the car simply didn't look macho enough, I guess is the easiest way to say it. However, those very colors are extremely desirable in today's collector car market. And if it's a car that you bought back in the 90s and took great care of, you'd be enjoying resale value that is shocking. Very well put together M3 can cost as much as it cost brand new if it's in ideal condition. And for the past 25 years, sure, there's upkeep, but that's a reality with any car. But you would have been enjoying a fabulous car for a long time that's currently has a look that's all the rage, even though it was a little different and maybe even groundbreaking back in the mid-90s. I look at the M440i the same way, especially in the convertible. I think this is a car that is going to age very, very gracefully. And I know that a lot of people are turned off, particularly to the way the front end looks. But I'll say this, if you are turned off to the way the front end looks, just get the car in black and get all the shadow line extras that you can. All blacked out, this car looks sinister. It looks fantastic today. You don't have to worry about it aging gracefully. It looks amazing right now. One other comment I want to make about my friends at BMW of Hawaii, and this is an important distinction, and this is why it's a brand that I really enjoy working with from time to time, is that BMW of Hawaii reminds me very much of kind of the ideal or dream dealership that we like to run way back when. All about the customers, all about having a great employee experience where the salespeople are having a great time, where the customers are having a great time, and you're just all about servicing them. That's all you think about all day long. On a big island, like the Big Island, our major city is Hilo. Well, Hilo's super far away. It's on the other side of a mountain range, essentially. And then a lot of people live in these sprawling communities out there. Obviously, way out here in Kona, you're never going to be able to service that customer. But that's not how BMW of Hawaii operates. If you buy or even service any BMW, they will literally drive to you no matter where you are, anywhere on the island. They will have a loaner car in your driveway, pick up your car, and bring it back. And then when they're done, we'll get them all switched out. And the cost for that is free. It's just how they are. And then they don't have 50 million salespeople out sitting around outside all day long hustling for the next up to come onto the lot. There's a few very, very high quality people that are an absolute treat to be able to deal with. They all do really well, they all are super cool, and they make your experience a dynamite experience. It's a throwback to the way dealerships used to be in the best possible way. Now, you may be asking yourself, why the heck is Joe wearing a Cal Bears Aloha shirt? Well, I'll tell you, our 17-year-old was recently accepted to UC Berkeley, which is a big honor. But what's even crazier is the kid has autism, which makes it kind of one of a kind anywhere. And his mom and I are a very happy mama bear and papa bear. But we live here in Hawaii, so as an out-of-state student, it's going to cost us some dough. So take a second, please, and click on that like button and click on that subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me, and it would mean a lot to my family. Thank you very, very much.